YouTube, this is Evie. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have another video for you all. Today we're going to be talking about exotic pets in BDSM. I've had people who have reached out to me over YouTube comments or Instagram or asking me on Tumblr, can you do a video about mouse play? Can you do a video about fawn play? Can you do a video about bird play? And I've had other people who have been like, help, I'm a red panda, I'm an elephant, I'm a whatever, and I don't know what to do. How do I do the thing that I want to do? And I wish I had the time to just sit down and make videos about every kind of possible pet there is, but I would literally be making a video every single day for years just about that topic, and I cannot possibly know that much about animals. I am not an expert, I am not a zoologist, I am not any of those things, so I am not even really that qualified to talk about this, but I am going to give you guys sort of my tips and tricks for what I do when I'm trying to research new pets and kind of help people, and hopefully you can take these tips and apply it to whatever kind of animal you are, figure out, more about that animal, how to actually turn that information into something that you can use for pet play, and hopefully you guys will find it helpful. Okay, I just moved over here really quick because the sun does not know what it is wanting to do today, and it keeps going behind and then in front of and then behind and in front of these like trees behind me, and it can't decide if it wants to blind me or make my videos completely dark, and it just is not fair, but here we are. So I'm going to kind of just assume during this video that you know what pet you want to play as. If you're sort of still in the stage where you're not sure, and you're like, how do I know what kind of pet I am? What do I do? I will link a video that I did a long time ago now about how to find out what kind of pet you are. I will link that down in the description if you want to check it out. But if you do know what kind of pet you are, how do you know what to do, and how do you find out more things about this animal, and what do you do? The first thing that I do when I am researching a new animal is I just find out about the behavioral characteristics of the animal. So literally just Google penguin behavior or whatever it is that you need to find out about, and read as much as you can about it. Just read and read and read and read. If this is an animal that is domesticated or can live with humans, like penguins sometimes can, or is commonly found in zoos, definitely read about their wild behavior versus their captive behavior or their domesticated or, humanized type behavior, because that will be really helpful, because that will kind of affect, what you might want to play as, and sort of what storyline more or less you kind of go as with the logic for your pet. And just read as much as you can. Find out, are they shy around humans? Are they aggressive? Are they prey driven? Do they get spooked easily? Are they very, very finicky? Do they need a lot of routine? What are their sleeping patterns like? How active are they? How mentally engaged are they? How smart are they? Are they able to figure out puzzles? Do they live in groups? Are they more solitary? Do they need a lot of alone time? Do they spend a lot of time like climbing up to the tallest tree? Or do they burrow? Or, what are their mating behaviors like? What sounds do they make? All that stuff is really important. How do they communicate? How do they interact with the world? What is their relationship with humans like? What is their natural environment like? Is definitely going to inform you more about that animal in a very general sense, and it'll help you kind of figure out a little bit how you might be able to work this into pet play, and I'll get more into that in a second. Once you have figured out what their basic behaviors are like, what is their diet like? Are they carnivorous? Omnivorous? Are they frugivores? Are they general herbivores? Are they opportunistic? Are they scavengers? All that's going to be very important, because it'll kind of impact, are you able to do things like trick and treat training play? Are they food motivated? Are they food possessive? Are they foragers? Do they store or like squirrel away food at all? That's going to be, something else that can very much enrich your pet play. And when you are, a kitten or a puppy player, for example, like food and treats and being fed, those can be very, very big parts of play. And just because you're not one of those pets doesn't mean that it's not going to work for you, or that you can't figure out a way to make that happen. If you are a frugivore, for example, maybe you could have scenes where your dom puts like apples and oranges and stuff on like the very highest bookshelves that you have, or like on top of like tall structures or cabinets or something, and you have to scavenge for them and like go and find the hidden things around the room. Or maybe you are a carnivore, so that means you're gonna have to kind of realistically kind of simulate those sorts of foods. So it'll be things like jerky, ground beef, so stuff like taco meat or sloppy joe meat, things like that. Bones like rib bones or chicken legs can also be very, very helpful for that. And those can be, very, very powerful tools when it comes to kind of playing in a sort of power dynamic where maybe you're a pet but you're a lion or a tiger or something. And that's going to be really important to kind of figure out, because that'll affect how a lot of pet play type scenes go, and sort of what part of your motivation is as an animal. Something else that is really important to do as a pet player, at least in my opinion, is figure out how to make vocalizations. And how do you do that? Watch YouTube videos. I definitely do this when I am trying to figure out how to make different like dog vocalizations. Like if I'm trying to do something that is like breed specific, I will watch videos of that animal. You can find tons of videos out there for just about any animal, like what does the fox say? Or that's such an old joke. Why did I even make that joke? I don't know. Anything, any kind of animal, if you're an owl or a falcon or a squirrel or whatever, there will be videos out there of that sound. Now, learning how to make that sound is a different thing. You can, if you can, quietly practice along with the video and try to kind of figure out how they're making that vocalization. You can practice in the shower. You can do it while listening to loud music. Kind of just as often as you can, listen to that noise. It's kind of like learning language. It's something that will come easier when you are surrounded by it more. You'll sort of pick up on it in sort of subconscious ways. If you're practicing it while you are listening to it, that'll be very, very helpful. Now, when you've actually done all of this and you've done the research about the behavior and the sounds that they make and the food and everything like that, and all the other stuff that maybe you want to know about with that kind of particular animal, how do you actually put that together and turn that into pet play? So just remember that the basis of pet play, the thing that makes pet play, is power exchange. The pet is 98% of the time going to be the submissive. They're going to be the one giving up power. That's why they're a pet. You can't have relationships that where both the dom and the sub are a pet, and they're sort of like a hierarchical type of thing, but like animals don't have pets, so it kind of just makes it like animal role play power exchange and not like pet play per se. But that's not really what I want to get into in this video. But suffice to say that 98% of the time, the submissive is going to be the pet in the dynamic. And that means you're going to be the one giving up power. And there are different ways to do that, depending on the behaviors of that animal. If you are a bird, for example, are you a songbird? Are you a bird of prey that can be trained to, be a falconing bird? Are you something that's going to be in a zoo? If you're a songbird, you can do a lot of play that involves, caging, learning to sing specific songs for your owner or master or handler, whatever they happen to be. If you are a bird of prey, something that's actually sort of interesting about falconing birds, they tend to be very, very finicky and in need of a lot of regimen and schedule. And if they get fucked up, they get very angry and bratty. So if you are the kind of person who leans more to the bratty side, you can definitely use that when it comes to bird play. They also tend to be very, very intelligent. So you can incorporate a lot of sort of mindfucky, puzzle-based sort of things to your play, because you know that those birds are very intelligent and they're very intrigued and curious about things. If you are something like a big cat, or if you are sort of more of a larger, like hunting type of animal, you can do a lot of things that involve more like rough body play. Watch things like how zookeepers train animals to do tricks, because that'll be very helpful as well if you're sort of in the big cat or like large canine side of things. Learn how to do stuff like that, because you can still do things like trick training and treat related play and learning how to walk on leash and take commands even when you're a giant ass predatory animal, because that's kind of how zoos work. And just sort of take the things about each animal that you have learned through this process and figure out what appeals to you about that animal, and take that little like golden nugget that you found, right? And just use that in your pet play. So maybe you find it like extremely interesting that like squirrels store so many things, or like magpies like collect shiny stuff, right? You can totally use that as part of a pet play scene. Just use your imagination, right? There's no one right way to do pet play. There's no one wrong way to do pet play for that matter either. So long as it's between two consenting adults, that's all that really matters. Just don't worry about what is right or wrong. Just kind of take what appeals to you about that animal and use it for your pet play. You don't have to be like 100% as exact as possible to how the animal acts in the wild, or in, in nature. This is make believe. This is pretend. You get to take these things that, maybe don't always happen in real life and pretend that they do. And if that means that you are a tiger who has been trained how to pull a cart, that's awesome. I am so glad for you. Or maybe you are playing as a frog and you're able to do tricks, and that's awesome. I'm so glad for you. You don't have to, like, there's no rules, okay? Like I said, the one thing is that it's between consenting adults. And that does not mean that you have to play as, close to that animal biologically as possible. You get to make stuff up, and that's what makes this awesome. Just do really what makes you happy. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this and you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to my channel. If you do like this video, please do also consider going to my Patreon. I have a ton of like cool rewards and like interesting things going on. So if you want to like check out my Patreon, please do. I will put a link down in the description for that as well. If you have any questions or comments, please do leave those down below. And until I see you next time, have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.